Meanwhile, the Fed is sending out expectations. There's going to be inflation so that we keep spending. And we didn't spend fast enough, then they have to send money straight into the system. QE is bank reserves. And that stuff, what were they pumping out? Stimmy checks. They had to get the money into the economy so we would spend. This is the Fed. All they have is QE. It doesn't work. That's why he says Japan is now on 24 or 25. And he says, you should ask yourself, why isn't it working? And his answer was because the banking system is broken. The banking system is based upon fractional reserves. So if $1 comes in, they've got to lend out 10. So these guys have been lending out 10 times 10 times 10, and now the collateral's going bad. So that's why what Snyder was saying, all the Fed could say was unemployment's going down. I mean, unemployment, whatever it is. So because there's unemployment, the economy is getting better. And that's why he raised interest rates, and Trump went nuts saying, hey, the economy is not strong. And that's why they're attacking Trump. That's my opinion, because the guys who run the banking system and the school system, who are going after, run the show. The swamp. So he said the banking system is bad. So these guys here are collapsing because their collateral is going bad. The assets they funded, which Lacy Hunt calls broken glass. That's like if you walk in and you say, I have a job, I'm making this much and this much, the bank will lend you money. But the day you lose your job, the bank doesn't want to talk to you. They want to start collecting. Have you walked some of these smaller shopping centers lately? They're empty. So it hasn't yet shown up as a liability. That's what Hunt was talking about. GDP does not measure broken glass. I was up, I took my watch in for repairs. Anyway, up north, fucking shopping center's empty. So I hear broken glass. So you look at the balance sheet, for there to be an asset, for there to be a liability, there has to be an asset. So the collateral is the asset, or the assets are going bad. But they don't measure it, according to Lacy Hunt, they don't measure it in GDP. So they keep printing M2, but it's bank reserves, it's not cash. So stimulus checks is UBI, universal basic income, going straight in. The problem is the assets are collapsing. The whole thing is coming down like a house of cards. That's why we're heading into a depression.
He says that when they print money, it's the belief that this will cause inflation. So we're all believing it's going to cause inflation. And so we act as if it's going to cause inflation, and then it causes inflation.
So let me just go back to Rich Dad Poor Dad 25 years ago. Rich don't work for money. Your house is not an asset. Savers are losers. And the Fed is a little wizard who can't do anything. And the power is what Snyder is saying. This is the banking system out here. The whole system is based upon, if $1 comes in, they've got to lend it out. And the collateral's going bad now. So that's why he says it's going to be deflation, not inflation. But the Fed has got to keep the illusion that there's inflation. The reason China is important is because Xi Jinping, Xi just said, we're not going to play that game. We're going to destroy the companies that are not viable. Whereas in the West, they prop them up. So that's why when I read Bunch of Giants in '83, And then I was in Borders one day, and it was Duncan's book, The Dollar Crisis, that the pieces start to come together. Savers are losers. The rich don't work for money. Your house is not an asset. And what's happening is the collateral, which is the asset, is going bad because money doesn't exist anymore. It's all fiat. It's all fake. The Fed, the money system. Fractional reserve. When a dollar comes in, it must be lent out 10 times. But the collateral that they based it, so they have to produce as collateral to lend it out. Because it's not money, it's bank reserves. And the reason we have a fast track and the reason we have the financial statement, it's they only allow access into that via financial statement. So when I met Kenny 20-something years ago, we understood that. He can take a piece of property and turn it into asset, which is collateral. But the real asset is the tenant. And that's why we always say real estate is based upon jobs. So as jobs collapse, real estate collapses with it because the collateral goes bad. Well, they want you to think expectation is there's going to be inflation. So that's why they say we're printing money when they're printing bank reserve, which is interbank. And they need people like who have like when Kenny goes in, they want to see him because he can actually create an asset, a collateral.
Right.
And when you have a student loan, same thing. You'll punish that student forever. And you got a homeowner, they'll hang on to that house forever. That's why Rich Dad was created. Interesting, huh? Currency is a derivative of money. So the dollar bill is derivative of debt. And that's why I say gold and silver. Did you pick up that thing about Bitcoin? It's not the Bitcoin, it's the technology that's going to take over.